Okay, so I'm now back from the cinema and I've just watched an incredibly brutal and gory animal attack movie called Primate. This is a story about a pet monkey that I can never say this, contracts rabies and then attacks the family and the friends of the family that are staying in the house at the time. This is a very nasty, very gory movie that I did not expect to be as gory as it was. Now, we're going to talk about this movie and some of the attacks. So I will get into sort of slightly spoilerish sort of stuff here. So if you haven't seen the movie, you don't want anything spoiled, please disappear. I will talk about the ending as well at some point. But if you don't really know anything, obviously, if you have seen it and you want to hear what I have to say about it, please stay around. If you don't really care much, you just want to know more about the film, stay around. But if you don't want spoilers, then go watch the film, come back later and we'll have a little chat about it. So, Primate, as I said, it's a film about a monkey that contracts rabies. Now, from the very start of this movie, something wound me up. And it's still winding me up now. And it's a bad decision made by the director of the movie. So they kind of do like a scene at the start of the film where a vet's going into the monkey's pen. It's the very opening of the movie. He goes in, he wants to give the monkey a jab. The monkey's looking really like dodgy, doesn't look right. And he's like, I'm going to give you a jab, I'm going to check you out. You've been bit by something, just going to have a look at it, sort of thing. And it's the guy that was the funny guy. I think it's Pete from Deadpool. I think his name was Pete. He was the guy that had no powers in Deadpool 2. I think he's in the Logan one as well. But yeah, he's in it. And he plays his vet. And he goes in, he's going to give the jab to the monkey. The monkey then runs off into this little hole. He goes in to get the monkey. And the monkey then like attacks him and it rips his face. So this film is gory. Rips his face, you see that ripping it off. And you see the skull underneath and that. Disgusting. And he proceeds to kill him. So then it goes like 36 hours earlier and it flashes back to 36 hours earlier. And then we get a whole build with, you've got the sort of our heroes of the part, if you will, the daughter coming back to see her dad, who's like an orphan in the house, and she's on her way back from like uni or something with her two friends, and then they sort of go to the house and you meet the chimp and you meet the family and all this stuff. And I thought to myself, if they had not shown us that opening scene, we could have fallen in love with that monkey and cared more about the family and the monkey, because we would have seen the nice side of it before we saw the bad side of it. But by seeing the bad side of it, you can't like the monkey when you first meet him, even though the monkey's been quite sweet and cute and all that. He's got little teddy bears cuddling it and it's really sweet, but you don't get to see that side of it because you've already seen the darker side of it. So I would have preferred it to have started off with them on the plane and that's the start of the film, so we don't see any horror stuff until the monkey turns. The fact they show us that bit before kind of, it stops you caring about the monkey as much. And I'd have liked to have cared about the monkey, then it goes through that change where it contracts the disease and then goes. Another thing about this film, actually there is some things that wound me up about this film. Another thing that wound me up about this film is that we don't see the monkey get the disease. There's a scene where the dad goes into the cage later on and he sees a dead mongoose on the floor and he says, oh, you've been fighting with the wildlife against the monkey. I keep putting it's an ape, isn't it? Chimpanzee's an ape, not a monkey. I'm sorry about that for all you zoologists out there. So the ape's like killed this mongoose and it's also bit him. I'd have liked to have seen that happen, like the mongoose come in and the ape sort of have a rumble with the mongoose and to get the bite, because then it would have been like a hero part of the ape and we'd have kind of had a sort of again, caring more about the ape. So the monkey, whose name is Ben is his name, he's kind of a clever monkey. He's kind of like, he can do sign language, he's got a tablet he can talk on. Have you ever seen the movie Congo? Remember Amy in Congo, who could do the sign language and talk? Like, I'm Amy. It's kind of like that, and he uses a tablet. And he's like, Ben, happy, Ben, sad, like that sort of thing. And the tablet comes up a lot more for some more scares later on in the movie. So the movie plays out, all the kids are at the house, or say kids, they're in their 20s. All these like 20-year-olds are in the house, and they decide to have a bit of a party because the dad's going off to do a book sign, he's going to come back later. And again, the vet that we saw at the beginning of the film, she shouldn't have done, turns up to look at the monkey kills the vet and then escapes from the cage. And then systematically goes around to kill everyone else in this place because the rabies have taken over. This is, if Cujo and Curious George come together, that's this movie. So the pet monkey's now in the attack, and obviously like they realise really early on what has gone on. They clock it really quickly that obviously it's got rabies and it's attacking everyone. They need to hide. And what they do to hide from this monkey, so when the monkey goes in the attack, it actually bites the youngest daughter, like the younger sister daughter, bites a chunk out of her leg, and she's obviously bleeding a lot. And they work out, if they jump in the swimming pool, apes can't swim, and rabies makes you afraid of water. So they can keep away from the monkey, and they're trapped in the swimming pool. So most of the film is then the survivors of the attack trapped in this swimming pool and trying to work out how they can go get help, how they can escape. There's a couple of attempts where they actually do sort of get phones and stuff and try and call people and that, but the monkey sort of intervenes and stops them. There's a lot of those sort of like fun like moments which are brilliant in this movie. Like there's a real tenseness in this movie that really gets you sort of gripped. Earlier on in the film as well, they met two boys at a, on the plane. This kind of threw me off a little bit as well. So they met two boys on a plane. They had a moment when they were sort of crossing over in the aisle, and then not mentioned again. And then suddenly they say, "Oh yeah, we've got those boys' numbers from the plane." When did that happen? We didn't see that. But apparently they got their numbers from on the plane. So they call these two boys up earlier on, asking them to come over. And of course the call doesn't go through; it goes to like a voicemail. And they're like, "Okay, whatever." But then of course, now they're trapped and the monkey trying to kill people. The boys show up. And they go into the house, can't find anyone in the house, are looking around, and then the monkey attacks them. And there is a horrific scene. This is a scene that made me go, want to look away. Because I haven't been well. I've got this like cough, cold, flu-y sort of thing, man flu-y thing. So I think my stomach's feeling a little bit not as normal. And I watched this scene, I was like, and I'm doing this because it's to do with this, right? So the monkey gets this guy on the bed. And the guy doesn't have a clue this monkey's like mental or whatever. He's just gone like all rabies and that. But he's been pinned down like this. And it grabs him here and it literally rips his bottom jaw off and starts kind of like playing with the jaw. And then he's like trying to put it back on the man. He's just like, oh, he's like bleeding out. It's disgusting. It really is bad. Like the gore effects in this are brilliant. All practical, all brilliantly done. Whoever's the makeup artists deserves some sort of award for this, because this was nasty and it looked real. Like the blood and guts gore all looked real. And also whoever plays the monkey in this, because the monkey is a guy in a suit, they don't do CGI in this one, it's all practical. It's a dude in a suit and it is vicious and fast moving and brutal. The guy's obviously doing monkey style movies like Andy Serkis would have done in these films, monkey style movements, but he's like, when he goes to attack, it's fast, it's clubbing, it's nasty, it's biting, it's clawing, it's scratching. Oh, it's horrific. So that was one of the main gore scenes. There's also the other kid that turns out he gets killed off, kind of sort of off camera, on camera. You see the kid picks up a shovel and he thinks he's going to fight the monkey. And next time you see the monkey, he's got the shovel, he's smashing the kid over the head with it. So you don't actually see him take it off him, but you know the monkey's obviously overpowered the kid and took the shovel off him. Again, I say kid, 20-year-olds. Anyway, so the monkey's like unstoppable, and the monkey's also quite clever. Even though it's rabid, it's still quite clever, so it works things out. So it's the scene where they're all in the pool, the guy in the film, sort of the dude that's with the original friend pie, not the two dudes that turned up, the original guy in the film. It's one of these infinity pools. So it's one of those pools that kind of like, it just drops off the edge. There's like a cliff. The house is on the edge of a cliff. The pool's there and the cliff sort of goes there. The pool goes up to the edge of the cliff like that. So it looks like they call it infinity pool anyway, like thingy. So the monkey obviously can't get in the water, so it works its way around the pool and goes onto the edge where the cliff is. So the guy's like, I'm going to shove it over. Oh yeah. So he swims over, shoves the monkey off, and you think, oh, the monkey's ape. You think the ape, sorry, zoologist, it's an ape. Shoves the ape off. The ape goes down, and the guy does that stupid thing where he goes, let's have a look. And then, of course, the monkey's actually been hanging on at the bottom, grabs the guy and pulls him off. And then you just see this guy fall, and you think that's going to be it. But oh no, they show you in detail as his head hits the rocks below, and it's not nice. Again, this film is very good at showing you gore and horror and stuff like that. Also, the film is quite dark though. And it's just my cinema. It seemed very dimly lit, the film. And I kind of wanted a bit more up with the lights a bit. That was the only thing I found a bit annoying about it as well. So then the monkey comes back up. And the more the monkey kills people, see, the more blood he's trying to get splattered on his face. And as the movie goes, he looks more and more evil. But it does remind me of something. Do you ever remember it? It was I don't know, it might not have been BBC. It was British. It was like a mini-series that was on back when I was a kid. So this might have been like the early 90s, late 80s, I think it was, called Chimera. And it was I think it's like a mini-series, I remember it being in episodes, about a government experiment to combine monkey and human DNA to make like a different type of being. And they do it, and then this thing escapes and kills a couple of people. And it's kind of all about the scientists and the word getting out, 'cause it's a government thing. And it's a weird show, but I remember watching it again not so long ago, probably about 10-15 years ago, and the monkey reminds me of that, a lot of it, like the chimera creature. So and then we've got our main characters that are now going to start getting killed off, because they killed off the two dudes who were just like fodder really. They killed off the one guy in there, so now you've got the three sort of adult girls left and the one that's hurt, and the young girl's hurt. So it's like 4 girls left. And the nicer of the girls, whose best friend, sort of our main girl, if you want, there's always like the one like scream queen, isn't there? So the final girl, as they like to call her. So they decide to go into the house. When the monkey's distracted, they decide to go into the house and find a mobile phone that was charging in the front room. So they go in there, and this is where you get one of the oldest tropes in horror movie history. But when you do it right, it works really well. And I have a question for everyone that's American in this audience, right? Does every single wardrobe you have the slat doors? Like the white doors with the slats? Is that like a staple in every American house? It's not the same here. We have like wardrobes with like cupboard doors. Like the slat thing, that seems to be in every film I ever watched. There's always like E.T.'s got the slat doors. Halloween. So it's that trope of hiding in a cupboard with a slat so you can see something on the outside. They do that trope, that famous horror trope. So they go in, they accidentally hit the remote control on the TV, Dora the Explorer comes on, and they bolt into this cupboard and shut the door so the ape is coming. Ben the chimp then comes into the room, and you get this whole really, really tense, like built up scene where they're in the wardrobe hiding, and the ape sort of just walking around looking to see where the noise comes, who turned the TV on. He then smashes the TV. They knock something over in the wardrobe, so the ape's like, hello, and he does this sort of slow head turn, like, I know where you are. So, but they sort of go into the back of the wardrobe, and there's like all these like coats hanging down, and it's got like the plastic wrap on all these like dresses and stuff, and they're at the back of the wardrobe, and he comes in, and he starts like sniffing, then he smashes through the wardrobe, and then he sort of comes in, and they do sort of like a Jack Nicholson Shiny moment where he's like looking through the thing like that, through the door like that, then he opens the door and comes in the whole wardrobe, and he's kind of sniffing around, and he sort of gets to the plastic, and there's really cool scene where he goes right up against the plastic like this, and she's kind of on this side of the plastic here, and he literally just does that to the plastic, slowly pushing it in, and she, like with his face like doing that to the plastic, and oh my god, it's so tense. Any minute now he's going to see him, any minute now he's going to see him, but then he buggers off, and it's that whole like, he ain't gone, you know he ain't gone, but like the girl's like, right, I'm going to go, you stay here, I'm going to go. She goes to sneak out, and you suddenly hear it say her name and bad. He's got the iPad. He's like, I can't remember her name is. I know whatever her name is, Becky or something. I know. Bad, like that. And then she turns around. There's like a ledge, and he's on the ledge, just standing there, like. And he jumps down and starts to attack her. Her friend comes out, and they fight for a bit. Then they run through this through the house, and they just shut the sliding door and lock it. And they're sort of, and the friend's on the other side of the glass like this, and the monkey's on this side, or the ape's on this side. I've got to stop saying monkey. Ape's on this side of the glass. And he's trying to open the door, and she's trying to hold the door shut, and you're like, oh my god, he's going to open it, and she holds it. Then he sort of like goes, oh, and he walks back, and you think, right, okay, he's give up, and he still sees him, he's sitting there looking at him, so he turns, and you just see him charge up, and he just bolts the door, and they're like, run, and they run, and he smashes through the glass, and it's epically done. Glass goes everywhere, and that comes back later as well. And then they're running, and this scene is, it's like, you know when it's like a nice person gets killed in a horror movie, it feels extra worse. So the girl that now gets killed is the friend, and it's so the monkey sort of catches her, she sort of falls down the steps to the swimming pool, and the sort of main one, she's running back, and she suddenly realises her friend's not with her, turns around, you can hear her friend screaming, because the monkey's got on top of her, and he's got a rock, and he basically, as the friend runs upstairs, he starts crashing her head with a rock, and it's just like, oh no, and she was the nice girl as well, so it makes it even worse. So then our hero runs back and jumps in the pool, and then like they're sort of like, what do we do now? And then like the monkey sort of has a go a bit and disappears off again. And the sort of the girl that was kind of brattish, and there's always the brattish horrible one that kind of want to die, but she wasn't that bad to be fair, but she's like there, and she's like, and they do the thing, you know the thing in horror movies where if you take drugs you're going to die, if you do a sex thing you're going to die. She kind of does both in a weird sort of way, so you know she's going to be for it. So she goes out and she says, like, I'm going to go and try and sort something, I'm going to go try and get help and save people. So she runs through the house, finds some car keys, runs out the front door, goes to get in the car and realises she's sitting in the wrong car. She's opened the door, she gets in, goes to start, she says, why ain't it working? I'm in the wrong car. And the monkey has the keys to the right, to that car that she's in, because then the monkey, ape turns up, and he's got the keys. It calls back to a scene earlier, so he's got the keys, and he's like, click, and the monkey becomes almost like aware that he's evil in some of the scenes. Like, a lot of it's just like because it's rage and animal instinct and the virus like just making him go nuts. But he's like click, and then the doors open, then suddenly the boot opens, he gets in, and she's on the phone to the police, and then she gets gone. Her death is extra horrific as well because he beats the living crap out of her in the car, and you can see the car moving around, and you see her like against the glass and bang, 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 and you see him like ripping at her and stuff. It's all done clearly, so it's not 100% seen, but you know what's happening and you can see what's happening, but kind of at a certain angle. So it's just like, oh, it's horrific, it's horrible. Again, the deaths and kills in this are phenomenal, as in gory and brutal and almost realistic. That's the only way I can say it. It's kind of real looking. You can imagine a chimp can do this, because we all know that chimps can be nasty and savage and crazy. You can believe a chimp could do what they do in this film. So I'm not shocked that a chimp is doing this. It's not like not unbelievable. A chimp would never do it. It's saying a chimp could do if it wanted to. So anyway, they managed to get the dad then gets a phone call. He's on his book sign, gets a phone call from the vet saying that the thing had rabies. So he's like, so he legs it home basically. And the dad's deaf, right? So the dad who went on the book sign, he's deaf, and to this point it doesn't really matter. So he goes in the house, and he hasn't seen anything dodgy. And the monkeys, the chimp, is at one point behind him, and of course he can't hear it. And then the girl comes in, she starts screaming, and he can't hear her either because they're all behind him. And then the chimp goes to the girl, and the dad again, he doesn't know what's going on, so he just goes upstairs, sees someone dead in the bed, it's like, oh my god, comes down, and then you get a brutal finale fight scene between the two daughters, so the one's had her leg bit, who's in pain, and the sort of main final girl type, and they're fighting the chimp, like what, it goes for one, then the other one tries to stop it, it goes for the other one, it's like back and forth between them two, then the dad turns up, and he's involved in the final fight, and he ends up stabbing a beer bottle or wine bottle into the chest of the chimp, you think it's dead. And then you get, obviously, like, again, this film does play on a lot of the classic horror tropes, but it does them very well. So you get the bit where the chimp's been stabbed, he's on the floor. They have a group family hug, like we survived it. Like the two sisters and the dad are hugging. They've survived it. And then you see the chimp get up, and you see that one sister, the sort of main family one, sort of sees it, and she's like, and she shoves her family out of the way as the chimp runs at her, and they both smash through some glass. They fall down. There's a table at the bottom with like broken bits that we saw earlier, and of course the chimp gets speared through the table like that, goes straight through. And we've seen that recently in something, I can't remember what it is. But anyway, so she's like blood everywhere. Chimp's dead, and the dad reaches through and grabs her and stops her from falling. So then we get the happy ending at the end, and everyone sort of the main family sort of survive. And I've sat there and watched this film and thought, that was actually bloody good for a silly little, obviously a lower budget because it's all practical horror movie that comes out in January. That was bloody good. Now, usually January films are the films that everyone thinks are going to do rubbish, so they chuck them out in January when no one goes to the cinema. Every so often there is a diamond in the rough. This is this year's January diamond in the rough for me. Was it last year? I think the year before last, there was a film called Abigail that came out in January. It's supposed to be a crap film that's going to drop. But that was brilliant. About a vampire in a house and some criminals in the house. That's a good film. Abigail. If you haven't watched Abigail, watch Abigail. But this is the same sort of thing where it's a film that's not supposed to be any good at all. It's supposed to be pants. That's why they put it out now. Was actually decent, and I've enjoyed it. I'm going to buy this film and watch it again, I think, when it comes out on DVD and that, because I'd thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It was horrific, and there are scenes where I had to look away because it was a bit gruesome, but generally a good film. It's a good animal attack film, and I do like animal attack films. I mean, I'm a Jaws fan. I think everyone is, though, to be fair. Lake Placid, Anaconda. I love all these films, even though some of them are awful. I love them. Arachnophobia is another great film. You know, Ghosts in the Darkness. I love these animal attack films because I'm a big animal person as well. So I like, even though I love animals, I do like seeing these like weird things where animals attack people. And I like that in a film, like the threat of an animal, the threat of nature, saying it's normal, so it's in the world naturally, not a monster alien thing, but saying it's naturally in the world that can attack people. I love that. If it was more threat from that, but this film is brilliant. The monkey stuff is. The ape stuff is brilliant. The chimpanzee, the violence of him, the aggression, the way they do the mouth, you see him snarling, you see the blood on him, you see the saliva coming down. It's literally Cujo and Curious George, and someone went, bang, now we've got a movie. And it works so, so well. I've always been terrified of rabies, by the way, even though we don't have it in this country. We haven't had it for years in England, it's gone. But I remember my mum telling me the story of Cujo when I was a kid, like 5, and the idea of rabies played in my mind so much. I was like, oh my god, one day I could get rabies. So they could bite me and give me rabies. And it's like, I didn't even want to go to America because I was scared I was going to get rabies if I went to America. That's how mad it is. So anyway, but don't panic. Rabies is not that bad. They can cure it now with injections and needles and stuff anyway. But thank you for watching this. Let me know if you've seen it. Did you enjoy this movie as much as I did? Did you think it was worth watching? There are problems with the movie. Again, that scene at the start really wound me up because it didn't need to happen then because it kind of ruined the rest of the film in a way. Some of the gore may be a bit over the top. You might have thought that. The fact we sort of, I feel there's bits of this film missing that were cut out. Because I feel like we missed the whole getting the number of the boys that turn up and there's some more stuff I feel like we've kind of missed as this film went on, little bits of story that I thought were cut out that shouldn't have been. I don't know. I'd like to see an extended cut of this, see what else is in it. Anyway, guys, this video went far longer than I thought it was going to, but get yourself out there, watch Primate. It is worth the ticket admission. Alright guys, see you later. Bye, but make sure you have a strong stomach to watch it.